The original series. Before the rise of the Mad King, before Robert's Rebellion, and long before Daenerys Targaryen ever uttered the word Dracarys, there was another story, the tale of a humble hedge knight and his bald-headed squire who would one day become king. Ser Duncan the Tall, the hedge knight who became a legend. Before he was Ser Duncan the Tall, he was simply Dunk, a scrappy orphan from the slums of Fleabottom. Dunk's childhood was spent surviving the harsh streets of King's Landing until fate intervened in the form of Sir Arlen of Pennytree, a hedge knight who took him on as a squire. Sir Arlen's mentorship gave Dunk not only a purpose, but also a moral code, one that valued honor over birthright, humility over arrogance, and action over words. When Sir Arlen died, Dunk took his armor, his sword early confirmed. He was 16, tall, awkward, and utterly sincere. From there, Dunk roamed the Seven Kingdoms as a hedge knight, fighting for a place in a world that often looked down on men of low birth named Egg, who turned out to be none other than Prince Aegon Targaryen, traveling incognito. Their unlikely friendship became the heart of George R.R. Martin's tales of Dunk and Egg. Together, they journeyed across Westeros, witnessing corruption, injustice, and the lingering scars of the Blackfyre Rebellion. Dunk's sense of honor constantly put him at odds with the powerful, and that same stubborn decency made him a legend. He wasn't the best knight with a lance, but with a sword or a mace, he was unmatched. More importantly, he embodied what knighthood should mean. Dunk the Lunk, thick as a castle wall, Sir Arlen used to call him, but behind the simplicity was a man guided by courage and compassion. He rose through the ranks, eventually becoming Lord Commander of the Kingsguard under King Aegon V, his former squire. Though his story ends tragically at the mysterious fire of Summerhall, his legacy lives on. Centuries later, even Sir Barristan Selmy remembered Duncan the Tall as one of the greatest knights who ever lived.
If you could bring me to Ashford, I could squire for you, sir.
Prince Aegon Targaryen, the boy who became Aegon the Unlikely. Before the Iron Throne, before the crown, before history knew him as Aegon the Unlikely, he was simply Egg, a scrawny, bald-headed boy with wide purple eyes and a floppy straw hat, pretending to be a squire to a hedge knight. Egg's early life was shaped by chaos within House Targaryen. As the fourth son of Prince Maekar and Lady Deanna Dane, he was never expected to inherit anything, let alone the Seven Kingdoms. But being so far from power allowed him to see the realm from the ground up. Traveling beside Dunk, he witnessed how the small folk lived, how lords abused their power, and how the highborn viewed honor as a luxury instead of a duty. These experiences forged his beliefs, a compassion for the common people that would later define his reign. He despised cruelty, especially from his own family. His older brother, Aerion, a cruel sadist who fancied himself a dragon reborn, once threw Egg's cat down a well and even threatened him with a knife in his sleep. It's no wonder Egg found in Dunk the protector and role model he never had. After years of traveling, fate caught up with him. The Great Council, faced with a succession crisis, bypassed several heirs to choose Aegon as king, a decision so improbable that he earned the name Aegon the Unlikely. His reign was idealistic, guided by reform and compassion, but also tragic. He sought to rekindle dragons through fire and blood at Summerhall, an event that would destroy him, Dunk, and many others. Prince Aerion Brightflame Targaryen, the Mad Prince before the Mad King. Every family has its black sheep, and for the Targaryens, that role was often drenched in fire and madness. Prince Aerion Targaryen, or as he preferred, Aerion Brightflame, embodied both. He was beautiful, vain, and completely deranged. The second son of Prince Maekar, Aerion grew up believing himself destined for greatness. But where his brothers Baelor and Aegon were kind and thoughtful, Aerion was cruel and delusional. His silver gold hair, violet eyes, and striking looks only fed his arrogance. He dressed in fiery colors, reds, golds, oranges, claiming they reflected his dragon soul. He believed he was a dragon in human form, destined to cleanse the weak through fire. Aerion's cruelty wasn't just theatrical, it was real and disturbing. He tortured animals, tormented servants, and once threw his younger brother Aegon's cat into a well. His sadism went so far that he held a knife to Aegon's genitals, threatening to turn him into a girl so he could marry him, a twisted reflection of the Targaryens' obsession with blood purity. His downfall came at the Ashford tourney, where he attacked a group of Dornish puppeteers for performing a story where a dragon was slain. Dunk intervened to protect Tanselle, the puppeteer, and struck Aerion, a crime punishable by death. The trial that followed would forever link Dunk, Egg, and the Targaryen family. Years later, Aerion's obsession with dragons consumed him entirely. Believing that drinking wildfire would transform him into one, he swallowed the substance and burned from the inside out. Thus ended Aerion Brightflame, a man destroyed by the very madness he glorified. Prince Baelor Breakspear Targaryen, the prince who should have been king. Among all the Targaryens of his era, Prince Baelor stood apart. Known as Baelor Breakspear, he was the perfect balance of strength and wisdom, a man beloved by the realm and respected even by his enemies. The eldest son of King Daeron II and Queen Mariah Martell, Baelor was both a fierce warrior and a diplomat. His Dornish blood gave him calmness and reason, while his Targaryen lineage gave him valor. At just 17 years, he earned the name Breakspear after triumphing at a tourney, defeating none other than Ser Daemon Blackfyre, the greatest warrior of his generation and the symbol of rebellion. Baelor served as Hand of the King during his reign, guiding the realm through the Blackfyre Rebellion. He fought bravely at the Battle of the Redgrass Field alongside his brother Maekar, Baelor the Hammer, Maekar the Anvil, breaking the rebel forces of Daemon Blackfyre and his sons. Tragically, his story ended at the Ashford tourney in 209 AC. During the Trial of Seven, fought to determine Dunk's fate after striking Aerion, Baelor fought on Dunk's side. Though victorious, he was accidentally killed when his brother Maekar's mace struck his head, a blow meant for another. His death was mourned across the realm. Even Dunk, the lowborn hedge knight, wept openly for him. Baelor Breakspear represented the best of what House Targaryen could be: noble, honorable, and just. His loss marked the beginning of darker days for the royal family.
I know I'm just a hedge knight, but sometimes I think...
Tanselle the Tall, the Dornish dreamer. In a world ruled by kings and warriors, Tanselle the Tall stood out, not for her birth or power, but for her artistry and heart. A Dornish puppeteer traveling the Reach, she was known for her delicate craftsmanship and grace. Her uncle carved the puppets, and she painted them, bringing to life tales of love, bravery, and ancient legends. At the Ashford tourney, her troupe performed stories like Florian and Jonquil, and Nymeria and her 10,000 ships. It was during these performances that Dunk saw her, and, for the first time, felt something beyond the road-worn fatigue of a knight's life. He asked her to share ale, and though she declined, they bonded over his request for her to paint his shield, the elm tree and shooting star that would become his personal sigil. But their brief connection was shattered by Aerion Targaryen's cruelty. Disgusted by her puppet play where a dragon was slain, he destroyed her puppets and attacked her, breaking her finger. Dunk's decision to defend her set off a chain of events that changed his life forever. Tanselle's role may seem small, but she embodies the heart of a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, the human cost of pride, the beauty of kindness, and how even a common woman could ignite a knight's sense of justice.
What chance do I have?
Sir Lyonel Baratheon, the Laughing Storm. Before House Baratheon became synonymous with rebellion and kings, it had its own larger-than-life hero, Sir Lyonel Baratheon, the Laughing Storm. A mountain of a man with booming laughter and boundless confidence, Lyonel was the Lord of Storm's End and one of the most formidable knights of his age. At the Ashford tourney, he became a favorite of the crowd. His laughter rang out even in combat. He would strike off his opponent's helm crests and toss them to the cheering small folk. Knights hated him for it, but the people adored him. Every tilt, every strike was done with flair and joy. Lyonel's might wasn't just for show. He fought with unmatched skill and raw power, defeating dozens of challengers and becoming one of the 5 champions who fought in the trial by combat for Dunk's honor. Later in life, he would become a key ally to King Aegon V, even as tensions grew between the great houses. His jovial personality and strength symbolized the wild, untamable spirit of House Baratheon, a legacy that would echo through the centuries, down to Robert himself. Prince Maekar Targaryen, the Reluctant King. If Baelor Breakspear was the shining example of Targaryen virtue, his brother Maekar was its shadow, stern, proud, and constantly living in his brother's wake. The 4th son of King Daeron II, Maekar was never supposed to rule. Instead, he was granted Summerhall as his seat, a royal retreat that would later become infamous. As a warrior, Maekar was formidable. His shield wall at the Battle of the Redgrass Field turned the tide against the Blackfyre rebels. The realm sang songs of the Hammer and the Anvil. Baelor the Hammer, Maekar the Anvil. But Maekar always felt overshadowed by his brother's glory. His pride and temper often isolated him. He was a strict father, and his family reflected the contradictions of his bloodline, from the cruel Aerion to the kind-hearted Aegon and the wise Aemon. When King Daeron sent young Aemon to the Citadel to prevent too many claimants to the throne, Maekar took it as a personal insult. But destiny has a strange way of twisting fate. After the deaths of his brothers and nephews, Maekar eventually ascended to the Iron Throne as Maekar the First Targaryen. He ruled with stern justice, and though not beloved, he maintained stability in a realm constantly on the brink of rebellion. His reign set the stage for the rise of his son, the boy called Egg, who would one day become King Aegon the Unlikely. The legacy of a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. What makes a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms so special isn't dragons, wars, or thrones. It's humanity. These 7 characters represent the heart of George R.R. Martin's world long before Game of Thrones began. Dunk's humility, Egg's compassion, Aerion's madness, Baelor's honor, Tansel's kindness, Lyonel's joy, and Maekar's pride. Together, they form the foundation of the world that would later give rise to legends like Rhaegar, Robert, and Daenerys. Before the great houses fell, before dragons returned, before ice and fire consumed everything. In this age of knights and oaths, of laughter and tragedy, the seeds of the future were quietly planted, and at its heart stood 2 unlikely heroes, a hedge knight and a bald-headed boy wandering the roads of history, unaware that they were shaping it. Our nerdy thoughts. And that wraps up our look at the 7 major characters from A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, from Ser Duncan the Tall's humble rise to Aegon the Unlikely's legendary reign, from Aerion Brightflame's madness to the noble fall of Baelor Breakspear. This prequel isn't just another fantasy tale, it's the emotional core of Westeros, where the ideals of knighthood, loyalty, and power were tested long before the Iron Throne became a symbol of chaos. If you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss more lore breakdowns in Character Spoiler Master, signing off from your nerdy show, where the past, present, and future of Westeros are always just one theory away. Valar Morghulis.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.